Rocken Larry Locken with Pleiadian Talk. Welcome wherever you are in the universe, the multiverse, anywhere in creation. We're here tonight with Natalie Alaya, part 2 of our series talking about the Munay-Ki Rites. We're going to discuss the 3rd and 4th rite tonight. And before we get started into that, Natalie, all the way from Ireland, how are you doing?
Good morning or good evening where you are. How are you?
I'm great. It's 2:18 a.m. here on the Oregon coast, Pacific Northwest, United States of America, Western Hemisphere. I think that pretty much sums it up. I'm doing really good, sweetie, and I'm glad to have you back on the show. And, you know, I just really had a great time the last time we did the show and was looking forward to this and continuing this series. And I know tonight we're going to discuss the 3rd and 4th rite, but I thought maybe we'd kick off the show with you recapping the 1st and the 2nd rite a little bit.
Oh, yeah, good idea. Thank you so much, too. I think I really enjoy doing these shows, too, so it's a lot of fun for me and just to get the word out about these rites and what we're doing. So the first 2 rites that we did in the event on Facebook was the healer rite. That was the first one, and that is about really healing your wounds, the wounds of your ancestors, even our future selves, and then also giving them gifts. It's like a mutual exchange. They have something to give us, we have something to give them, and in that process there's great healing for everybody. And the second rite was the bands of power, which is, you know, about like reinforcing your energy field, your aura, so negative energy kind of bounces off you, doesn't get into you as easily. And so those 2 rites are really like powerful rites, and I always see them as like the basic, you know, this is the basics. And even if that's all you pass on to anyone else, isn't that wonderful to pass on that gift?
I think so too. And you know, I was telling Sif that actually the other night, those first 2 rites are really the foothold, the way I look at it. There's so much more to learn, but once you grasp those 2, you're really on your way, you know, to
yes.
And forward. Yeah.
The first rite was like a real energy, like I think like it was huge, and there was it was quite intense. How did you experience the first rite, Larry? Because you're receiving them too.
Well, no, I did, and it was really intense. It was like a couple days of some kind of clearing. You know, my body felt a little bit tense, but then it's really strange. You know, I started to kind of feel like more of, well, I always throw this out there, standing in my own power, but I felt more protection. I felt more focused, and I don't want to sound like, okay, well, I woke up one morning and had a big gold layer of light around me, but it really
well, why not?
exactly. But you know what, though? It was on its way. That's what I'm saying is I really felt different.
Yeah.
I felt full of that feeling. I always talk about standing in your power, but I really started to feel full of that feeling, and like I could really do this and, you know, drive my own vehicle. If that makes sense. But it was really intense, and I was talking to another person who had basically said the same thing, and that triggered that in me, and it's like, yeah, it was those damn rights.
Yeah, and the second rite was much more gentle, and a lot of people in the group commented on that. It was a way more gentle transmission. There was less, let's say, upheaval or energy boost, but I've had messages from people saying they've had wonderful things happen. I hope if people are listening in that are also receiving the rites in that event, if they want to jump in and, you know, say what they experienced or have any questions, we're definitely open.
They can go to the Google page and send in a question, or they can come right into the room on the direct link that we put on the Facebook page, Pleiadian Express Productions. It's also in your group, the Pleiadian Star Healers, Family Lightworkers. I always get that. Why can I never remember?
It's a really long name.
It's a great group that's really building, and it's in Pleiadians as well as I put it on both of our timelines. The direct link come in, and you can come in and, you know, share your experiences if you would like to. But I think you just articulated that really great. it was like a 1-2 punch with those rites.
Yeah. Boom, boom.
That second one, though, was a calming it down and getting
yeah.
flow. And I like the way you articulated that, because that's what my mind is trying to say, but my earth mouth can't articulate it, you know? Yes.
Yeah. So I've been having great responses, great feedback from people receiving the rights. Now, the other thing is that, this is the first time, at least that I know of, and if anyone knows otherwise, please tell me, that these rights are distance transmitted. With the Cuero, it's always been in person, and it's a forehead to forehead. They literally, the right is actually being transmitted when you touch the forehead, from pineal gland, third eye to third eye contact.
Very revolutionary then. I would say, though, that in this, at the very least, in this in-depth, this is probably the first time it's been done at a distance.
Yeah, I use Reiki, the Reiki distance symbols. I've been doing Reiki for years, and I wanted to get the rights out to more people. And if it's person to person, it's very difficult to reach a whole bunch of people. So I just had that inspiration to just, why not try it distance? And I'm getting a great response from it. So I'm very happy with how it's going so far.
Yeah, you were really meant to do this. The first time we talked over a year ago, and, the chakra readings and all that, I totally agree. And I think this is your calling, and you have that.
Oh, thank you.
You're kind of a combination of shamanic, star healer, and angelic energies at the same time. And it's
that's very good description, Larry. I do kind of work in all those kind of realms.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, the Harmony Rite, the next rite in the series that's going to be transmitted this Sunday, is again, it's going to probably be a big boost. I'm hoping it'll still be a gentle transmission, but it is another jump. And with this rite, they kind of say that you need to meditate with each archetype. So basically what we're doing is you're seeding each chakra with the archetypal energy. They have the first four chakras are with the power animals or animal guides, if you want to look at it that way, in those chakras that the Cuero work with. And then the upper three chakras are, they say you can look at them as like archangels, deities. Now, the ones that I'm transmitting are the ones that, like Alberto Villoldo and all that he brought to consciousness and to humanity. They're Cuero, Mayan, and I think a Cuero deities. But you need to establish your own relationship with these archetypes, and you need to meditate with each seed for at least 2 weeks. So it's going to take 14 weeks to really overall get those rights. And if you don't want to do that, which is okay, but it means you're not ready to transmit specifically that right. Does that make sense?
That makes about as much sense as I've heard in a long time. I mean, exactly.
You know that you won't be, it's a process.
I mean, it's going through different grades or ranks, whatever you want to call it. I mean, yeah, exactly.
So it basically what they say is that if you do the meditations, 2 weeks for each chakra, each archetype, meditating on it. He says to do a fire meditation, but I actually think you can do whatever meditation that you want with each archetype. And I think I'll do a little explanation about the archetypes just to give people an idea of what the archetypes are, what they mean.
I was going to ask you to get into that, so yes, that would be great.
Okay, so in the first chakra, in the root chakra, we have the serpent power animal. And I wanted to talk to you about this, Larry, and get your take on this, because I know a lot of Pleiadian and star family beings have a problem with the serpent energy. So
Yeah, as we found out in the pre-show, yeah, a little bit of one. I just feel I don't really vibe with it too much, but I'm not sure if it's the fault of that or if it's insecurity. I feel I look at that serpent as maybe strangling my chakra, or I don't know. Yeah, I do have a little bit of an issue with it that probably goes back to past lives, and I know other Pleiadian starseeds that I've talked to do as well. So, you know,
oh no, I've heard it too and seen it too, and like this, the serpent is in this scenario in which I'm seeding for you, is a healer and showing you how to regenerate and shed your skin.
that resonates. Okay.
That's what, but if you want to connect more like as a Kundalini energy, because some people see the snake as the Kundalini energy, maybe that would work better for you. Or if you want to connect as it's just like showing you how to regenerate, how to let go of the past and to remake yourself.
What if I told you I wanted to do both with it? Because, you know, I feel like with the Kundalini, I feel like I'm okay. I feel like I have a partner now where I can embrace that Kundalini energy, but I also need that healing from the past as well. So, and I think you touched on something about the serpent, and maybe that's something we as Pleiadians are still trying to heal and getting, you know, overcome and get in touch with that. And that really makes a lot of sense. Again, I'm rambling and trying to relate this.
No, that's because I do think Pleiadians, yeah, there is some sort of issue around the connection of the serpent energy or a fear of the serpent energy. And this is a harmony rite. So we're trying to harmonize.
It's a different story. We're still thinking about the Orion Wars and the reptilians, and that might be part of the planetary mind, but this isn't what this is about. This is a harmonizing of it coming together, and I really feel that, yes.
Yeah. So, okay, the second chakra is the Jaguar or the Puma. And this is, the Jaguar is a master at tracking and stalking energy as a power animal.
Did you say stalking energy? I'm sorry.
Yes, stalking. Yes, not Facebook stalking.
I thought you might have said stalking. I thought I heard stalking. I'm like, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, do you know, tracking energy, going into, it can pass through different worlds. You know, the Jaguar, if you have a Jaguar as an animal guide, it can go into the spirit world and this world. And how it does it is by tracking or following energy, just like it tracks or follows its prey. It's a great hunter.
But interdimensionally, it sounds, that's fascinating. Wow.
And they say that it crosses the rainbow bridge. So like, and the rainbow bridge is kind of like the connection between dimensions.
Okay, okay.
And it is a warrior energy too, don't you think? Do you feel that with the Jaguar?
What kind of an energy?
Warrior?
Yes. Well, definitely. I mean, even by definition, what you're saying totally, and you know, I totally feel that.
Yeah, it's got, but it's a spirit warrior, a luminous warrior.
Right, that operates in it's interdimensional again, yes.
And so you may have like issues with this one, so it's like power, ability to track energy. We're trying to bring harmony to that. So like you were just saying earlier about, you know, standing in your power. This is kind of where connecting with the Jaguar and Puma will allow you to stand even more in your power, Larry.
Wow. I'm just sitting here taking in the resonation as you talk about it, and yeah.
There's no more fear, you know, it's about releasing. The Jaguar has no fear.
How liberating. How
And the third chakra, we come to the hummingbird. Now, the hummingbird is very big. These four animals, by the way, are part of the Cuero or the Andean shamanic tradition. These are the 4 basic animals that they work with. They also represent the 4 directions. But maybe hummingbird or jaguar isn't you can still connect with an archetype energy. Like if it's not the jaguar that you want to connect with, but the tiger, it's okay.
Okay.
The hummingbird has a couple of different qualities. Now, in the notes, it says it's, the ancestors, the grandmothers and grandfathers, ancient memories, ancient wisdom. That's who the hummingbird represents. But I know in the shamanic, what I learned was in the shamanic tradition is that hummingbird represents joy, but it's also about agility. They're really, really good at moving. They can, when they fly, they can stop, they can go up, they can go down, they can, they're really adept at being agile.
Notice how they fly. The way they fly is different like that. I think you just described it. They're agile. They can stop. They can go in different motions. It's different than a lot of your typical birds, the way they fly. That's just the way I...
It is. They really have special qualities. So it's about harmonizing with your ability to express joy and to move, to be able to, when an obstacle comes, jump over it or duck under it or fly sideways.
Wow.
Because obstacles are always going to happen. It's how we deal with them.
Yeah, I'm seeing this pattern as you're moving up the chain, with from the jaguar to the hummingbird, and it's just amazing.
They each do, it's like a building. You're building this.
Yes.
Each one builds on top of the next. At the 4th chakra, the heart chakra, we have condor and eagle. Now, the condor is the South American, and the eagle is the North American. And I actually will, after I talk about that, talk about the prophecy of the condor and the eagle after I describe this power animal.
Because I had a point I was going to tie into that too, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. The condor and eagle, so they fly very high. They're able to see the big picture. They have vision. They can see the past, the present, and the future. It is about pattern detection, because if you know what's coming up, you're able to maneuver again to see the big picture. So you're getting clarity, ability to see the big picture, ability to spread your wings.
And fly.
Yes. So the condor, the prophecy of the condor and the eagle, this prophecy came out in 1990 in Ecuador during a meeting of the elders. And they said that they had had a prophecy that the eagle from the north and the condor from the south would unite and work together, and that they would bring their teachings to the people of the West.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that North America will supply the strength, the physical body. Europe will supply the mental, the thoughts, the mental realm, and the South America would supply the heart energy.
Okay.
And you said you had some connection with that, bro.
Well, when we were talking about that in the pre-show a little bit, it triggered something in my mind that I'd heard probably when I was a kid in the 80s, and there was different interpretations of it about the eagle in the West, in North America, and the bear. I also heard this term, the bear will roar, meaning Russia. Now, at the time, of course, it was the Cold War going on, and some people that I had talked to took that as the bear will roar and come out of the north and dominate and take over. But then some people took it as the bear will come out of the north and unite with the eagle from the west.
Oh,
and
wow.
What I had heard, I don't have any more information, but it made me think back to that as we were talking about it in the pre-show. And then as you saying, the condor from the south, I mean, so you have all these regions and strengths coming together.
Yeah, like the medicine wheel, which is very big in the shamanic and the Cuero tradition, where you have north, south, east, west uniting, and each person stands in the center of their own medicine wheel. You have you are the center of your own medicine wheel. And the four directions, like in front of you, behind you, to your left, and to your right. And maybe this is I love these prophecies because it is an awakening, and people are awakening and connecting and coming together.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful time.
They're getting more full of the feeling. You know, we can throw catchphrases out there and cliches, but I really feel like humanity's awakening to the point where they can take these rights and get full of them and actually understand them, to stand in their own power with them, instead of, you know, you still have some people hung up on, well, what about this or what about that? But the reality of it is, it's, you know.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, actually. Thank you for saying that, Larry, because I wanted to say that there is no correct response to the rights. There's only your response. And also, if you're not ready for the rights, especially like if you've gotten right 1 and 2, and you're not really understanding it, you don't have to continue. You don't have to continue with the rights, or you can pause and get them later, because everyone has their own path, their own way of processing.
Yeah, this isn't
and
like
it's intense energy.
Right? This is just, not to interrupt, this isn't like going through a degree where you've got to, well, fake it till you make it. This is at your own pace, your own will, your own curriculum, basically.
Yeah, I tried to spread them out like over 10 weeks. Like when I received the rights, Larry, I received all of them in one weekend. It was too much for me.
That's what I call a crash course. Jeez.
I received them all in one weekend, and then I was sick for a couple of weeks afterwards. So it just was too intense. And I've heard from other people who have received, some people have received them in one weekend and they're fine. But each person has their own, response to it. So that's why I decided to kind of put it out over 10 weeks. But I'd say some people could do them in 3 weekends.
Yeah, I would agree. And I can just feel myself getting even sicker than probably you did, getting them in a crash course like that. All those energies just boom, 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 and different varieties of them. And I'm sure that's what happened to you. But again, it goes back to the point of, it's at your own pace and your own, what your thought was best for you and your soul.
Yeah. And, oh gosh, what was I going to say? I was going to say something else about that, and it just went out of my head. Maybe it'll come back later. Okay, we'll keep going now with the harmony rites. So we finished with the 4 power animals that you're harmonizing with in those first 4 chakras. Now we're getting to the archetypes they have for the upper 3, the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra. And you can look at these as archangels. They have their own deities seated here. But again, you need to make your own connection. And I actually think it's absolutely valid if you want to pick a different archetype in these chakras that you connect with. In the 4th chakra, this is the lower world. So before I go into it, let me explain the 3 levels. So you have the lower world.
The lower world, the middle world, and the upper world. We had a little bit of a glitch here. Natalie will be back in the room in just a second. Before she gets back in the room, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody out there for supporting Pleiadian Express Productions and supporting this awakening movement. This is, a very important topic, and especially with somebody like Natalie, who's really knows her stuff. And I think she's back in the room.
I am back. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I was just giving you a quick plug and some kudos and plugging the productions. But yes, you were talking about the archetypes as far as the you were going into the upper, middle, and lower. Okay.
Thank you, Larry. So the lower world is like the underworld. It is like where like after we die, when we cross over, and they have Huascar as the keeper of the lower world, and he's the keeper of the medicine teachings, and also where our creative potential. So basically, the lower world would be our shadow side. And we're trying to harmonize with our shadow side by connecting with this archetype. And I have a list of other lower world archetypes. Hold on. So you have like Ereshkigal, the Babylonian lady of the underworld, Anubis in Egypt. In Greece, they had, Styx, and Hades or Hecate. And in the Norse religion, it would be Odin. Do any of those resonate with you, Larry?
To be quite honest, not really. Odin does a little bit, a tiny bit, and maybe it's because of my Norse heritage and whatnot, a little bit. But I've got to say that I can't say that they really do at this point in my life. But I'd be willing to bet a lot of people will resonate with each of those. I can just see that totally, but so far not really.
Okay, well, maybe after you receive the right too.
Yes.
And so again, it's about you harmonizing with your shadow, and whatever you see the archetype or the holder of that energy is what you need to connect with.
Okay.
And the middle world is like our daily life, everyday life. We inhabit the middle world. Now, spirit inhabits all three worlds, by the way.
Yes.
But we physically, this is the physical world, the middle world. We're physically here, but of course we can, when we journey, we go into these other worlds. That's what a shaman does. So the middle world is our daily life. It's usually associated with the morning star, or the dawn day bringer. In these rites, it's Quetzalcoatl, which is a feathered serpent. Again, the serpent theme.
Mm-hmm.
And he's Quetzalcoatl is the god of wind and associated with the planet Venus, which does spend some time as the morning star in its cycle. And when you harmonize with Quetzalcoatl and the energy of this, you're harmonizing, your daily life goes smoother.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't have to micromanage your life. Things are just flowing easier in the physical realm. And Quetzalcoatl is actually a Mayan deity.
Mm-hmm.
And what was some other okay, so other middle world deities would be like Enlil.
Okay. Yes, the Enlil resonates with me. I'm still not sure how to deal with Enlil. I have some issues that I need to work out with that.
I love it. Yeah, Enlil, we got issues.
And as far as you had asked me real quick to go back about the lower world. I feel like as mostly a star energy based incarnate from space, I really don't. I know we travel through all those worlds, but I really think my soul, and maybe it's something I need to explore. I think I've tried to stay out of that, and so and maybe like you said, after I receive the rights, one of those names will resonate with me a little bit more. But yeah, now I'm feeling a little more resonation here in Enlil, and I know when you get to the next phase, it'll probably start kicking in more for me, like the upper. Okay.
Also, with the middle world, the fairies, they say the fairy, the elementals.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you connect more with that, Larry.
I would say so, because I see a lot of what I call elementals and wisps and things in the air, and the trees come to life, or orb faces in the trees.
I see that too.
Yeah, exactly. And
you can, you probably already have that strong connection with, the fairy, the elementals. So even though in the rite I am doing it as the Cuero, it's Quetzalcoatl, it's a label. In your language, it's the fairy folk or the elementals.
Okay.
I think it's like better to look at it that way. That the name is just, it's an energy, and they call it Quetzalcoatl, we call it fairies.
Yeah, part of the barrier here in 3D, the 3D world, exactly. Different names, yeah, exactly. It's really interesting to know that. I'm glad that you just told me that. Okay.
Yeah, and I have Thoth or Isis, Apollo, Athena. Hindus would say Saraswati. They would connect with that archetype or that deity as a ruler of the middle world or keeper of the middle world. And then in the seventh chakra, in the crown, they have Pachacuti. Now, Pachacuti is like, it is a deity, but also he was an Inca god, like he was a living person. But they're not connecting to the living person. They're connecting to the archetypal energy of Pachacuti as a son of a god, a son of this Viracocha who came from the Pleiades.
Yes.
And they have a prophecy that the Cuero, that Viracocha was going to, that Pachacuti he built Machu Picchu, and that when he would come back again, the age of Pachacuti, doorways would open up between the worlds again, and people would be able to travel between the worlds again.
Kind of like the veil thinning, you know? Exactly, and I think that's the time we're in right now, so that really resonates with me totally.
They said that this Aquarian back, and just to tie back into that prophecy of the condor and the eagle, that it was connected, they said, to the age of Aquarius. And that has been said by many times by many people, that this age of Aquarius is ushering in this new energy.
It totally is, and I really feel like it's with the children that are, 25, early 20s and under. I think that the mistake that we made in the baby boomer generation was, of course that song came out, but I think they thought that they were, but really it was a 3-step process. I really believe it was their grandchildren, which is that generation I just spoke of, that is the ones that are ushering in that age of Aquarius, and that's just what I've got from my guides and, my telepathy with the Pleiadians, that's this is the age of Aquarius being ushered in. It's being ushered in with this younger generation now.
I think so. I do agree with you. The age of Aquarius, too, even astrologers quibble about when it started.
Yes.
Because I'm studying astrology and it cracks me up. So,
a lot of those astrologers, and they're hung up on a label or a title or what they read or what they heard, and I don't think a lot of them see the big picture. They may be more technically sound at astrology than that, but there's so much more to astrology than people realize here on Earth. I mean, it's just... Exactly. You got to keep an open
There is an intuitive, or what you said, that's what you got telepathically from the Pleiadians. I trust that stuff because that's your inner knowing. That's what you know. That's what you got. That's powerful.
Yeah, I can't speak for anybody else, but it resonates with me. And when I speak to other Pleiadian souls that I really feel are and know, like in private, they get the same thing exactly. And it ties into what was talked about in Bringers of the Dawn by Barbara Marciniak, the double the kids being born with the open strands, the kids nowadays that they're old cosmic souls, but most of them, it's their first incarnation ever to Earth, and their minds are more open. They're more see it all thinkers instead of like maybe in our generation a left right path mover. They see it all at once. They see through the illusion, but they don't realize it because they were born seeing through it. And so, that label Age of Aquarius, I really believe is they are the ones ushering it in. And yet the baby boomer generation, they were the pioneers kind of setting it forth, and the Blu-rays came along, and like you and I are both at different Blu-rays, and we're kind of that antenna between the two generations. You know what I mean? We're just kind of, we're helpers.
A bridge?
Yeah, a bridge. Exactly. An energetic antenna bridge, basically, between the old and the new, between the past and the future.
Yeah, I'm loving the energies that are around right now. I'm really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't a few years ago, you know.
No, hell no. It was a little bit of a dark period. Even
Yeah.
still today, though, we do have these ups and downs, but the ups are becoming more frequent, and the downs, even though they suck, they're getting to be less and less. I feel like we've kind of broken that barrier, and that's the direction we're headed in right now. I really like the energies too, except I do know that there's going to be times ahead where there's going to be some, oh God, I feel really down today or this week or whatever. But I really feel like it's going to become less and less, and the great times are going to become more powerful. You know what I mean? Till it's just.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I used to, like, if I went into a depression, let's say a couple of years ago, I could be depressed for months, sometimes a year. Now it's like a day,
Mm-hmm.
couple of hours, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I don't want to be depressed.
Well, no, exactly. And look at what we talked about the last show to tie this in with synchronicities, right? We talked about how it was, okay, well, you'd have one a month, and then, one every week, and then two a week, and then every day. And then, Jesus, when you're talking to people like mine now, it's every other thought almost. Almost telepathy.
Yeah, and manifesting is getting really strong and quick.
Exactly. It's building that bridge of telepathy too. The only one little downside of it is it's going to eliminate radio talk, because we'll all just be telepathic.
No one will even talk anymore.
Exactly. We'll just come on here and just be, oh, welcome to the show. This is it. Your mind thinking, Yeah.
But you're talking about I can't even talk. Telepathy. It brings us to the next rite. Great segue, Larry.
Well, thank you.
Which is the seer's rite. The fourth rite, which will be given in 2 weeks' time, is about installing light filaments from your visual cortex in the back of the head to your third eye or pineal gland and to your heart. So you're connecting the intuitive function of the heart with the visual cortex and the third eye, so that they're all working together and are harmonized.
Those light filaments are encoded,
Mm-hmm.
the working knowledge, and that's what it's doing. You're right. It's bringing all those together. Those light and filaments were left in us by Pleiadian and star energies, and and part of our cellular memory, our cells contain this too, these infilament codes, and it's just connecting everything.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I wish I was a better articulator, but that's that's kind of how it.
Oh, I think that you articulated that really well.
Well, thank you.
The seer rite, so it's awakening your inner seer, and just to discuss a little, just to explain it to people so they understand about the 4 levels of seeing. You have your literal level. This is what you see with physical eyes, and what you're looking at every day. Though I have to say that I see things, like we've talked about this, Larry, that we both see the orbs and everything with our eyes. I don't see them just in a photo. I see them with my physical eyes. And so when people say, oh, it's lens flare, I always think, well, my eyes must have lens flare then.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had my eyes checked out, and it's funny to hear that, because I used to get kind of worked up when I'd hear people say that, but there's a difference. My co-host, other co-host of Pleiadian Late Night Talk, Raquel Toombs, was only seeing them in the pictures. Now she sees them like you and I do all over the place, right? But she was able to tell in these pictures the difference. Okay, no, this is different. This is not just a typical glare, or this is not just an orb glare. I mean, your intuitive knows the difference, but you can't tell somebody that who doesn't. So now I just kind of laugh and chuckle. And I almost screwing around and joking. I mean, I almost, Yeah.
So, so your physical eyes, you may see things with this rite that it may awaken, let's say, abilities in your physical eyes. to see things or connect to things that like you haven't seen before. Yeah. The other level of seeing is symbolic seeing. Symbolic is where you understand the emotional body, where things are held in your body. So maybe you're like, oh, my neck hurts, and oh, I know that that person has been a pain in my neck, or it's this issue, or it's because I feel this way. So you start to understand what your emotional body is saying to you.
I have to ask you on that note, okay, look, I've got a really bad, what I would call sciatica down my left side, you know, my left hip, the back of my knee, but the hip area. And I just wonder how, you know, if that ties into what you're saying about the neck.
Yeah, it does. Let me just tune in, Larry, to what you're saying. The left hip, the left leg, the left side is the feminine intuitive. It's about, the left side is usually about the future. Do you have any fears about your intuition going into the future, moving forward in the future?
I don't know if it's a fear, but I have this anxiety, Natalie, of just wanting to get on to that next phase. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to get more stability, get settled in the relationship, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of like a hurry up and let's get on with it kind of and the fear of, is it going to happen, is it not? And I try to bottle that fear and not think about it in my mind. So maybe.
But that could be what's causing the sciatica. Like, this is a thing about the fear. If we don't really feel it and go get really into it and then release it, if we bottle it up, our body starts to respond to it. The hip and the knee is about moving forward, you know, and using, you know, it's the feminine side, the intuition, your receptive side. You may be feeling anxiety about this being receptive in the future even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I can say is that really resonates with me. You know, that sounds cliche, but it does. It just, yeah.
So to release it, don't spend too much time dwelling on it, but you maybe write down all your fears. One of the things that I suggest to a lot of clients is write down everything, even as ridiculous as it sounds, all the fears, and then burn it. Burn the piece of paper.
You know what? I'm going to do that like very soon, like probably within.
It's like, can we finish the show? I need to burn some paper.
If anything else, right, doing that would just make me feel good in the moment.
And you need to release everything, every single thought, no matter how, like, of any fear of, like, not receiving money, because the receiving could be about anything, right?
Mm-hmm. I think with it's self-worth, probably.
Yeah. So release everything, write everything down, no matter how ridiculous, silly. It's not silly. These are fears that you have, and when you burn it, it's like you're just letting it go. And it does work. It really does. A simple thing, but it does work. So now the third level of seeing this is about your soul level, the mythic. This is where the shamans work, and this should be activated. Now, it could take months. Like you were saying, you didn't feel like you woke up and you were surrounded by golden light. After you get this right, you may not wake up the next day, or you may, and be like, oh my God, I could see everything. You know?
Okay.
It's a process. It could take months.
I've been doing it for millions of years. I'm cool.
The mythic level is about being able to see your soul energy. You're connecting into light language. Seeing the light language, like we talked about those filaments of light, being able to, you know, connect and get the messages from them. This is also in the mythic where we connect to archetypes.
Awakening back to full consciousness of what our cellular and filaments have always known. You know what I mean? I feel like, right, it's learning this and getting full of the feeling, and then these were always there in us, ready to awaken or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were latent, or is that the word, latent? I don't want to say suppressed, because I think that has a negative connotation. It's maybe they were in a suitcase and now we're just unpacking them.
Yeah, I would about 85% agree with that. I think yes, and I think maybe there's a 10% of a factor of a manipulation energy maybe that tried to suppress it and did, but really the fact is that they were latent. I don't like to use dormant either. That's dormant sounds kind of bad, but yeah, I would agree with that. I think so.
I think they were just packaged in boxes or suitcases, ready to be activated when they could, and maybe they tried to stop us accessing it, but it ain't happening now. It's going to be a waterfall, I think, of activations now.
I think so too. It's just accumulating, and there's going to come a point too where it just starts catching fire, and really it already is. It is. It is. That's a good way to put it.
And the last level of this seer's right, that like it'll awaken in you, is the energetic level. This is where you don't need any knowledge at this level. This is the level that shamans work at the best. And this is like where you can literally see the heavy energy and move it along.
You know, on that note, you speak of the shamans and that spirit, that realm, that spiritual realm, that third level. What does what is the chemical in our brain, tryptamine, DMT, play into that?
DMT, dimethyltryptophan.
Yes.
Tryptophan.
Yeah, whatever. Tryptamine. I've never used the actual drug tryptamine, but I know it's in our brain, and I'm wondering if that has anything to do with triggering the...
Yeah, I'd say so. The Cuero work with ayahuasca, which is DMT, and they also work with Wachuma or San Pedro, which is a cactus, similar to...
Peyote.
Peyote.
Mescaline, yep.
Mescaline.
Mm-hmm.
And these are definitely, the DMT is in our pineal gland. Though sometimes I've read stuff that says definitely it's been shown to be there, and then I've read counter articles that say no, it hasn't been fully proven.
Well, I don't care about that. I think that it is there.
I think it is.
Just like, if not to get off topic, just like with opiates, our brains, dopamine, our brains produce that natural opiate. And all that plant does is, you know, when you ingest it in a pill or whatever, it binds those receptors in your brain, feel the pain. But you'd think eventually when we get to maybe this third level you're talking about, the brain will bind that automatically so we don't have a lot of that physical baggage pain that we're carrying within us.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I could see that. I resonate with that. And then it makes kind of sense, because it's like when they always say we have to do all this inner work and do this inner connection, and then our outer world will change. And that is what we're doing. We're connecting these like light filaments, activating stuff in our DNA, in our brain that's already present in our body. And that will change our outer world.
We've got it all within it. I mean, you talk about the cliche going within. We really do have it all within. You have those in filaments. You have those opiates, those natural painkillers in your brain. You have the tryptamine, DMT, ayahuasca in your mind to be activated when need be. And I think hence the trouble we get into when we're not ready for this, trying to use these substances, maybe not to get off on a tangent like that, but I mean, when you're not ready for it, I guess you're not ready for it,
Some people like to, they want to speed up the process. And if you're, it's usually an issue of grounding. If you are grounded, and this is common with the Cuero are very much about the human experience. Full expression, where each divine drops of divine mystery, and we're here to fully express our human experience. And the other shamanic technique that I work with is the Brompo. They say that if you're not grounded, anything you do, it's like it comes and then it just slips away. It doesn't integrate.
That's the real problem with star incarnates too, with that grounding, especially like in that first chakra, that grounding, because you talk about the Queros want to really engage in that human experience. We don't. We want to get the hell out of here. While we're here, this, and while we're here, we want to use anything that we possibly can to numb our experience while we're
because it's painful. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And we miss home.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
I miss home. I have memories of even back being 6, 7 years old and looking up at the stars and going, I know I came from there, and I want to go back there.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought that all the way up until I was 6, and even had these dreams about Atlantis, Lemuria, and dreamt about then being in a star system after watching this planet destroy itself from a ship. But then I forgot about them. And I've got a photographic memory. And then a couple of years ago, I remembered I'd had them. So it was strange. I don't think I was fully incarnated here till I was 6 years old. And I think that even 6 years before I was born here, this time on Earth, I was here studying or whatever, trying to get it down. But yes, but then again, home can be within too. You look out into the sky and the stars. Is it out there, or is it something our mind is projecting, like a holographic universe in our mind that we're projecting, or is it both? Chances are it's probably both, and it just, it really shows we really don't know jack squat, but we're we're putting this puzzle together, and more people are coming together with knowledge like you and others, and bringing their talents to the table, and we're resonating with each other. And sorry to get off on a tangent like that.
Oh, no, it's not a tangent. It's beautiful.
That's just how I feel about it, and it's amazing.
Just to reiterate that, I think grounding for Pleiadians, for star children, star beings, we're here now, and we have to ground.
Yeah, we got to make the best of it and come to learn the lesson, I guess.
So I also wanted to just do a little quick talk about the future talk rites, the next 2 rites.
Yes.
That are coming up. So we'll do that in 2 weeks. Yes. Another show, part 3.
Part 3, same bat time, or same star time, same star internet channel, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
They are the 5th rite is the Daykeeper rite. The Daykeeper rite connects you to all the ancient stone altars all over the world, like Machu Picchu, Stonehenge, the ones in Ireland, the pyramids, Australia, anywhere. All of these pyramids, you're going to connect with the power of them. And the Daykeepers were they were a lineage of Laika or Quero ancestors that worked with these altars. And they basically were able to, they're going to pass on their knowledge, this lineage of people who worked with these stone altars. When you connect with the rite, you're basically intuitively connecting in with their knowledge of these stone altars and how to use them.
Fascinating.
Properly. To bring balance to the world.
Yes. The right consciousness to handle it, yes.
And the 6th rite is the Wisdom Keeper rite. And the Wisdom Keeper rite, they say that part of this rite is really connected with the mountain energy. They say mountains are sacred places. You think of Machu Picchu again, Mount Sinai in Egypt, Mount Fuji in Japan, Nepal, which just to send in healing and love to anyone affected by the earthquake in the mountains in Nepal. These wisdom keepers basically put their energy into they went to the mountains, their energy is there, they were able to step out of time. So these are masters of energy from the past and the future who stepped out of time, and we're connecting through the mountain to their knowledge and energy. And this is all about medicine teaching. So when you get this right, you may get direct transmissions and downloads from them about, healing, medicine teaching. And this rite really heals your masculine energy. Now, there was one before, let me just look at my notes, that heal. I think the first rite, the healer rite, was the feminine energy was healed.
Right.
And this rite is healing, the sixth rite is healing the masculine energy, too.
It seems like I've heard in history, too, that all the great teachers, whether it was, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, whatever, they would go to the mountains.
Uh-huh.
When they got to a little bit too much down
there. Their place of the power.
Yes. Closer to the stars, really, too.
Yeah. Less, less gravity, less pull of gravity?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So that'll be, we'll talk about those two rites on the next show. And I wanted to do a little plug for my website. I am offering the Munay-Ki Rites distance transmission to people who aren't going to the event that I have on Facebook. And I probably will do another event like what I have going right now, Larry. But I'm also offering for people to do it one-on-one. Again, it's distance transmission. They'll follow the same format. They could get the 10 rites over 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 10 weeks. I'll give them notes. I'll give them guidance on processing and facilitating, processing the rite. And they can pay, it'll cost 100 euros or 10 euros per rite. And you can also just message me, and if you just want to do one rite, 10 euros, and then see before you get the next rite, you don't have to pay for all of them in one go, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and we'll provide a link as well to your website and everywhere else that they can find you when we post the show all over Facebook. So.
Well, I was hoping someone would pop on with a question from the group, but I know the group is just, the energy in there is just amazing. And all the crystal grids that people are making and posting pictures of.
Yeah, it's growing like wildfire, but it's growing in a good way. It's really, for the most part, 95% good people coming in there, not trolls. It's really just... It's
the energy is very pure.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I've only seen one other group that has close to that purity, and it's this bigger group called Wind Horse Circle of Rainbows. It's been around a while, but your group reminds me a lot of that because it's pure. It's a pure energy in there. There's not the bickering. Not that that's not needed in some other groups for people to cleanse and clear, but it's just a real pure high vibration, really.
Yeah, I set the intention when I set that group up that it was a place for healers to heal and share with each other.
Exactly, and I think one of the big things you did too, and you may not realize that when you did, I know your first pinned post, and it's probably on your one now, you talked about this is, somewhere where you can share your ideas. If you've got a business as it relates to this sort of area, you can go ahead and plug it here, Yeah,
because a lot of the Facebook groups, and I do understand why some of them do that. They say no advertising, don't advertise your business, don't advertise your event, don't advertise your... And a lot of us, especially the star seeds, a lot of us are self-employed or doing this outside of a 9-to-5 job.
Yes.
And don't have the money to advertise. And I really wanted to make it a space where we could all shine and say, look, I do this. I do readings. I read Akashic Records. I can do healings. I'm having this event. And just support other healers in their business because we need to support each other.
We really do, and the energies have provided a point to where the people that do come in and share their ideas and businesses, it's something, luckily, that's really relevant to this puzzle. It's not, Joe's plumbing service coming in and
or Ray-Ban. Well, we do get those sometimes.
Yes, good old Ray-Ban. I noticed, I have been in one of your admins group. I haven't noticed too many Ray-Bans trying to come in there, but yeah. Oh,
I tried to delete it. I got a great admin crew in that group, so we tried to delete any of those.
Yeah, the Ray-Ban hackers. Yeah, we'll have to do. That'll be another show sometime after we finished all this, and we'll do a Ray-Ban show. Yeah.
Where are they coming from? I just want to know: are they paid or is it a bot?
Exactly. I don't know, but I can get you some Swiss watches for $2 from a guy in Tijuana that wears a trench coat. Don't chip it too much with your fingernails, though. The gold. God, I don't know.
I just sometimes wonder: are they actually paying someone to put in all those advertisements, or is it a robot?
It must be a robot, because you have to think, even if it was some kind of a shady marketing thing, right? You'd have to think, well, God, people aren't. First of all, people are starseeds are broke. Who's going to buy some cheap shades? I mean, you can't possibly think, even if you were trying to swindle people, that you're going to make a hell of a lot of money pumping those Ray-Ban. Oh yeah. I mean, I'd like to meet the starseed who went ahead and bought a pair on there. I would. Good God. But yeah, the group is really great, and it's just taken off, and the numbers just. I got excited when it hit 2,025 and then 25. And now I'm just like, it's just going. I mean, it's just exciting, and it'll be 3,000.
Yeah.
And on.
Oh, I may need more admins, so just putting a shout out, if anyone is interested in helping admin the Pleiadian and Star Family Healers, Shamans, and Lightworker group, just message me on Facebook, because it is growing, and as it grows, we do need more admins. It is an unpaid job right now, but it's helping the cause and helping.
Yeah, and people, don't get scared out there. It's not like it's some big-ass real responsibility where you've got to. I mean, it's just about being in tune. There's not a lot of footwork involved in it. You know what I mean? Aside from sharing the group once in a while in other groups, or making sure that, checking out people that are trying to join the group, just giving it a quick look over, approving posts, whatever. I mean, there's not a lot of trigonometry to it, per se.
I'm back.
Yeah, I was just talking about how I didn't want people to get nervous about the admin title. It's not like there's this huge shoulder of work that you would have to do. It's mainly just being in tune with making sure the right people are coming into the group. And when I say the right people, making sure it's not a troll or somebody trying to sell Ray-Ban sunglasses or.
Yeah, it's easy to tell, because you just look at the profile, and if they just joined Facebook and they're in 100 groups, they're usually.
Exactly, or if there's little tips.
They don't have personal pictures up, but not everyone does. But some, they don't have a lot of friends. You can tell the fake profiles.
Yeah, 2 friends, 11 followers, or a button that just says follow on there. Or like for me, in sports teams, their favorite sports teams are the Lakers and the New York Yankees and Manchester United. I mean, their favorite athlete is LeBron James, and it's just little subtleties like that you notice, and it's pretty easy to spot. And if it looks legit, I mean, if you even have a thought about it, put them through it. If they're there for other reasons, they'll get weeded out.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Or they'll leave if it doesn't resonate eventually.
Or get kicked out if they're in there screwing around. I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the way I feel about it. And anyway, Natalie, you mentioned, go ahead and plug your website again and talk about where they can find you, just to talk about where they can find you in the wonderful world of the internet. Have at
Thank you. Yeah. I will. My website is www.Alaya Healing Services, all one word. I know it's long. AlayaHealingServices.com. I do a lot of stuff over the internet, distance healing, shamanic healing, card readings over Skype. I even can do, like, if you have questions and you just want to do it over Messenger, I'll answer questions that way. I have 2 Facebook pages. I have an Alaya Healing Services Facebook page where I put free guidance posts on and do little card readings on there for people, and the Voice of Shamanka community page that I've had for a couple of years that I'll post inspirational stuff on and card readings, and then the Pleiadian and Star Family Healers, Shamans, and Lightworkers group.
You got the title right. Cool.
I did. Woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and of course, Natalie is also part of the great 20-person admin team of the mothership of Leah Shapiro's Pleiadians group, which got a lot of diverse talent on that admin team, and we all have our
amazing admin team, and I love that group, the mothership.
The mothership, and it allows us to branch out and do our own things too, yet come together, and I think that's wonderful. We're putting this puzzle together with all our talents and not bickering about it. You know, it's co-creating heaven. Yes, without saying my God's better than your God, and
my Quetzalcoatl is better than your Quetzalcoatl. No.
Yeah, any day of the week, sister. Yeah.
Okay, Blu-ray brother, it's on.
Definitely on. And was there anything else that you wanted to touch on?
Well, I was hoping some people would come on about, like, their experience of the rites, but that's okay. Maybe next time.
Natalie, maybe too, what we can do, and I know this sometimes might not work for your schedule, is we could
do a different time?
Yeah, we could do it at a different time where people here I go sounding like an elitist American, where people in Northern America and the Western Hemisphere are more up at the time. But I know, of course, a lot of our starseeds are from Australia, Scandinavia, Europe. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not trying to. I don't know why I would say.
No,
that.
I'm open. I'm open. We can do it definitely later, even like 4 o'clock. If 4 o'clock my time is in about like 5 hours, your time.
Yes.
5-6 hours.
Yeah, or if you were willing to stay up late one night, we could do it at 4 a.m. 3 or 4 a.m. We'll try it that way. We'll try it like what you said. We'll try doing it at.
If I did it around, the thing is, I'm a huge sleeper. I can't, like 10, 11 o'clock.
You're done. Okay.
I'm done, and I'll sleep a good 8 hours. So what about if it's 10 o'clock at night my time? I think it's like afternoon for where you are. You're 8 hours behind me.
It is. We could even try 9 o'clock your time, but say, like, what if we could do it like on a Saturday? Would that ever work for you?
Oh, yeah. Saturday would work for me.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think what we'll do in 2 weeks when we do it is, why don't we try it then on a Saturday at, say, even, I don't know, 8 or 9 o'clock your time, pick,
Okay.
And we'll announce it and go from there and get this show pumped out first. And, we don't really set the time, but we do. And, we're here, there, everywhere. And, yes, we do need our sleep. Damn, I love my sleep.
I do too. I'm a sleep hog. I can't get enough sleep.
Yeah, I can't either. But sometimes I like to sleep 4 hours here, 4 hours there, and I've noticed that a lot of people have those energies since the awakening. You sound like you just like to sleep straight through, huh?
I do. I need a good 8 hours of solid sleep.
Yes.
A night.
You could probably.
I can't function.
You could probably sleep 10 or 12.
I think I could.
Well,
I know I work a lot in the dream time, and I've even had clients tell me I've come to them in the dream time and done healing on them in the dream time. So
that's why you're so weary and have to sleep that much, because you're motoring along.
I think so.
Yeah, I do too. Well, it's been really great having you on the show here, and just to give Pleiadian Express Productions, a little bit of a plug. You can find us on Google+, YouTube, Twitter, although we don't use that much yet. You can find us, of course, on Facebook, and you can find me and Leah Shapiro's group, as well as the 30 other regional groups that I've set up over the last year, and our specialty groups that are out there, such as Lyran Kingdom, Pleiadian Fairies. I didn't get that exactly right, but people get the gist of it and know. Pleiadian Twin Flame Souls, Pleiadian Reiki, Fringe Thinkers, and of course, I'm also in the market if you need somebody to market your Facebook page, your cause, your website, your show, whatever. I can get those pumped out to over 100 groups, do a 2-hour show here with you on here, bump your posts up with links, and and I do charge $25 for that. So
it's well worth it, Larry. You're amazing.
Well, thank you so much for the plug, Natalie. I appreciate that, and so are you. And I think with that being said, we can just give everybody a big cosmic dating game kiss. Mwah.
Mwah.
And that's a wrap from the PEP.